Hey there! You just caught me taking a little mid-afternoon nap. Didn't get much sleep last night. Honey was snoring all the time.
Hey!
But all kidding aside, as I'm sure you're well aware, sleeping is a very important part of life. You know, it makes up we spend a third of our lifetime sleeping. So you want to make sure you're doing it correctly. A lot of people take sleeping for granted. It's just something they do when, they're not awake. But I always tell people, if you're spending, let's say, half an hour or an hour, doing some postural realignment exercises, but then you go spend, 8+ hours, because I know you're getting 8+ hours of sleep, right? If you spend 8 or more hours sleeping in a bad position, well, it's like taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back, or at least 1 step back and not really making any gain. So the position you sleep in is very important. So first and foremost, most people are just sleeping in the wrong position. They're sleeping on their stomachs or on their side. And I'll be the first to admit I've been guilty of this myself. Now you may ask, okay, what's the problem with sleeping on your stomach or your side? And I'll show you. Now I'll show you here just so you can visually see, loudly on the bed. But if I'm sleeping on my side, maybe look something similar like this. You may have a pillow, you may not. But look at all the asymmetries going on my body. I got one leg bent, which obviously is going to hike up this hip, which is going to change the curvature of my spine, and I got one arm out. I mean, no one sleeps on their stomach like this. Or if you do, please write me. I want to meet you. That'd be awesome. So, again, all kidding aside, no one sleeps like that. It's very asymmetrical. Same thing when you lay on your side. No one sleeps like this. They sleep here. They're on one side, so one side of your spine is supported, the other's not. You've got, regardless of whether you have a hard mattress or a soft mattress, you still have something pushing you into, essentially, scoliosis. So if you have, take two. If you're someone that, has a laterally tilted pelvis, scoliosis, meaning maybe some nerve pain, there's a good chance the reason being is you're spending, 8 or more hours out of every 24 hours in a position like this. Basically, slowly but surely, tilting your spine to one side to compress some nerves. And that's where you get, things like sciatic pain or femoral nerve pain. If you have your arm up like this, you get nerve pain, on your arms or your wrist and your hands, things known as like thoracic outlet syndrome. So, those are the problems there. So I would definitely say stay away from the stomach sleeping. If you're going to sleep on your side, make a few changes. Number one, make sure your head is properly supported. Usually one pillow, unless you have like a really big head, doesn't really help, because you're ideally, for your neck part of your spine to be neutral, it has to be here. Well, I'm still holding my head up. I don't know if you can tell. If I go there, it's down. So you usually want to use 2 pillows, to hold it properly up. The other is to put the spine in a more neutral position. You want to put it right above your pelvic bone, like that. Now, this isn't best case scenario, but it's a significant improvement over how it was before. Some people also, though, say that their knees hurt, when they sleep. So then they take yet another pillow and put it here. And you can see where this becomes more complicated, and eventually you spent what you could on a new mattress just on pillows to try to set yourself up. It's a little ridiculous, I know. So instead, what I recommend is just sleep on your back, like you saw when Anya first came in the room. And what I would do is, I really made a mess of this bed. Lay on your back. You want to use either one pillow behind your behind your head, or none at all. The more pillows you put up, notice, if I put this back here, now my head's higher up, and some people sleep with 3 or 4, I don't know how they do it, but my head's further up. Well, if I spend 8+ hours like that, and I wake up, and I'm like this, I wonder why, So make sure your head is in a neutral position, i.e. where your ear and your shoulder should have a plumb line running between them, okay? So that's step number 1. Now, step number 2 is lay down for a minute or two and just lie there and see if in that 1 to 2 minutes you have to do anything like this in order to get comfortable. Any of this fidgeting, any crossing one leg over, crossing both legs over, doing a frog position, you know, if you have to do any of that, that's a sign that your body is trying to correct a pelvic disparity. Maybe it's a rotation, maybe it's an elevation, you know, it could be a number of things. Doesn't matter. In that case, what I want you to do is take a pillow. 1 or 2 usually works. I've never met anybody that needs 3. And put it just on your knees. So there's a slight bend in your knees. And what that does, just that little bit of flexion at the knees, is it allows your pelvis to sit in a more neutral position. So your pelvis, hips and pelvis are in neutral position, as well as it unloads a lot of the stress off your lumbar erectors. Those are those muscles that run parallel up your spine from the base of your pelvic bones all the way up to the base of your skull. So that will help out a lot, and you'll notice that now you don't need to do any of this, okay? The third part, second or third part, I don't know what part we're on, is, you know, some people where they sleep on their side or even on their back, they notice, okay, what do I do with my hands? Because if they're here, I have to instantly rotate. It feels kind of weird to just do this. I kind of feel like a vampire or something. And so they'll usually put them here. But notice how my shoulders now have internally rotated. So then you wake up and you're going, yeah, my back, lower body feels good. But I'm kind of tight in my shoulders. What the heck's going on here? And so what I'd recommend is taking a pillow, small pillow. My pillow of choice is sheepy. You don't have to use a sheep, but you know, it's convenient. You could count them too before you go to sleep. And just put your hands on there. And what that does is it lifts your arms up enough so that your arm bones in your shoulder joint could sit back nicely. So that's, again, if you feel you're rotating in. A lot of it too has to deal with, quite frankly, weight. You know, are you someone that's very slender? Are you someone that has a belly? Sometimes that's one case where maybe being a little overweight might help. You got somewhere to put your hands and put your shoulders in a better position. So, and last but certainly not least, you know, I've told people for years when they ask me what position should I sleep in, I say before you even get into bed, focus on taking the best aligned body possible into bed. So, you know, spend 5 to 10 minutes doing some exercises. And if you've already opted in for my homepage, you know, and you have the exercise for, you know, shoulder pain, hip pain, knee pain, all the regular joint pains and things, do some of those right before bed. And you don't have to maybe go through the whole thing, but pick a few. You know, at the most, 5 to 10 minutes is usually good enough. And you don't have to do anything strenuous. You don't have to build up a sweat. You know, you're trying to go to sleep. But I'll share with you some of my favorite ones that I might do. So one is static back. So you just lay down with your legs up. Granted, this bed is a little high for me, you know, 5'8", ideally be a little lower, but, you know, just lay here in this position for, like I said, 5 to 10 minutes right before bed. And think about it, all the time we spend sitting behind a desk, behind a car, in flexion, work on a computer, our iPhones and all this, well, what does this do is allows my spine to just relax and go into that extended position. So now I'm going to be, after 5-10 minutes of this, my posture is going to be better, and I'm going to bring that into bed. So I'm going to be even that much more comfortable. Because most people, again, don't think of sleeping as an activity, but it really is. You know, your posture, your body will do whatever you ask it to do. Just be careful of what you ask it to do. So if you sleep in a good position, you're going to wake up in a good position. If you sleep in a bad position, you're going to wake up in a bad position, and your body will let you know through your symptoms, whether it be neck pain or back pain or knee pain or nerve pain, whatever. Another one of my favorites, because I really get tight in the thighs and the hip flexors, is what's known as the wall quad stretch. So I'll put my knee up here. And again, I'm only spending, you know, that one, the static back, spend like 5-10 minutes. These other ones, maybe 1 to 2 minutes per side. And I'll just tuck my butt under and lean back. That feels good after a few minutes of that. I also like doing a pigeon pose here on the bed. So I'll just lean forward here, and I could really feel that in my glute, my lateral hip. I'll maybe spend, you know, 30 seconds forward, 30 seconds to one side, maybe 30 seconds to the other, and then switch. and then move upstream to the hamstrings and just kind of lean forward, stretch those out. Again, you can go inside, outside to get different parts of the hamstring. And again, I feel a lot better. I go to sleep faster, have better quality of sleep, and I'm sure you will too. So if you haven't already done so, at the end of this video, there'll be a place to opt in to get a lot of these exercise routines. So if you're currently suffering from things like back pain, hip pain, knee pain, etc., you could opt in and you'll get access to all these exercise routines for free, and then pick whichever one most closely relates to whatever symptom you're currently suffering with, and do those exercises. Do them once in the morning, and if you feel the need to, do them again before bed, or even do, maybe if there's 5 exercises, pick 2 or 3 out. And I'm really interested to know, after you do the exercises, after you kind of play around with some of these different sleeping positions that I just demonstrated for you, let me know your findings. How do you feel? What's better? How's your quality of sleep? How are you waking up? I would love to hear those, so please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you for joining me inside this video, and I look forward to seeing you inside the next one. Alright, until then, take care, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite, and keep moving. Take care, guys.